she would tell me to hold my breath underwater when the security came through.
I didn't mean to make that heavy.
Bro, my heart was just yeah, I could be washing dishes, but I'm supposed to be high and washing dishes. And I remember, don't go on Hinge.
I don't want to.
Have you been vlogging already?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I literally just turned it on. You want to introduce yourself or shall I introduce you?
Hello. I am, how should I introduce myself to people who've never met me before? I could be anything.
Yeah.
I am everything all at once, everywhere. Are you asking me questions?
Am I asking you questions or are we just talking?
We can just talk. Should we be facing the ocean? Like the camera facing the ocean?
You want to do it that way?
Yeah. So they can see the view.
Before we get too far into the video, I just wanted to give a little bit of a disclaimer. This is two neurodivergent speaking, so there may be some gestures, mannerisms, inflections in the voice that occur, and I don't want anyone to read too deep into it. I got a little bit of the tism. I know there were some instances of me rolling my eyes. When I speak, I do that as a way to recall information or think of what words I'm trying to say, or just really process the things that I'm receiving. The way that people communicate, sometimes I need to digest it internally, and so I'll like go like this to really feel and understand what it is that they're saying. And there was a lot of me stimming and weird things going on. It was wet, it was cold, it was humid, it was sandy, and I wasn't the most physically comfortable because of the setting, but I wanted to get the video done, and thankfully she participated and helped me out with my little vlog. Normally I do these things by myself. I'm very grateful that y'all got to see her and she shared bits of herself on the channel. So let me shut up and y'all can get back to watching.
Hey vlog, this light is the best we could do.
We came here earlier and some guy showed up and asked to take pictures of us, which was fine, but they took away our sunset. So this is what y'all get. Sorry. This 8-year has been insane, actually.
Are we starting from January?
Should we do month by month? So this year for me was a 2-year. Do you know what year it was for you? Shall we calculate that? Okay. Personal year 5. I'm in a personal year 2.
No, my life path is 1.
But your personal year number
the one we just calculated is 5.
Yeah. This year. Shit, I don't remember January this year.
I got to see my phone to recap. What was going on in January of 2024?
I was working a lot, and I was kind of going in and out of like holding on to certain bad habits for sure. I was teetering between letting them go. Do I want to just keep indulging? And I ended up cutting the cord at the end of January, but nothing too eventful that month, to be honest.
What did January look like for me? Well, pre-January, pre-2024 January, that fall semester, I was returning back to school after my break. I had about a year long, 2 semesters off of school where I was just kind of in a rut and I was staying home. So January is when I kind of fell back onto my feet and got into like a really good routine. I was more engaged on campus. I found a friend group on campus. January was good. I don't have any ill will from January.
Nah, January was actually crazy as fuck now that I'm remembering.
What are you remembering?
There was a lot of stuff going on in my house. It was a lot of like turmoil, a lot of dysfunctional relationships, including myself and then like with other family members. It was a lot going on. I had one friendship that like was very, very near and dear to me, and that shit literally like crumbled.
All in January?
Yeah. And it was like she exited but without saying nothing. It was kind of just like peace, it, like no closure or anything. So it was very intense, but at the same time like I was calm. February though was also quite chill for me. I feel like nothing started happening until like March.
Around your birthday?
Yeah. How was February for you?
How was February? What do I remember from February? I was going through it with my roommate at the time. Nothing too overly significant yet at this time, but from what I do remember, it was just turmoil over her wanting to move her boyfriend in.
Okay.
And me being like, hell no, you can't do that.
Okay.
She was a Cancer. So she was very passive aggressive, like to the core. She would do, it was just a lot of little like nitpicky stuff that we went through during that time. But all in all, I wouldn't say that was I didn't allow her to take over my February.
Yeah.
Or any of my months, really. Like, I never allowed the turmoil to be a real point of contention until a couple months later, which we'll get into. But
yeah, okay. February was, do you have another? I think, okay. So because I was in I enter my personal 2 year. That happened in March, my birthday in March. Before that, I was in a personal 1 year. And 1 years are very like working on self-discovery and shit like that. So it was a very isolated year, I would say, for one. And it was like I was more looking inward and focused on like things that were going on internally. And then the 2 year was like I'm coming out and like entering other spaces with other people. But January and February were both like in my head, basically. I'm not really too pressed on what's going on externally. I'm more focused on what's going on with me and me. So January and February, even though there was a lot of shit going on, I was kind of just more sitting with myself. In March, I felt a shift of like, now you need to start working on the shit outside of you. And then that's when 6 days before my birthday, my brother died. I knew it was going to happen because of the way that it transpired. It was still like, damn. And then my birthday came around and I was supposed to go out of the country for my birthday, but obviously I ended up staying home. It's like
you booked the trip already and everything?
No, I hadn't. Like all the money was saved and I was just waiting, but like I kept having dreams, so it was like I was pushing it off. I didn't really know why at the time, but it ended up making sense. But yeah, that happened and it was like you need to be more present with like the people in your life kind of thing. So that was my March. And for you? I didn't mean to make that heavy. Like that,
I'm like, well, my March was just fun.
No, but genuinely though, like people don't like talking about this kind of stuff, and I can understand why, but it doesn't feel heavy to me, and that's why I'm like, I feel like I can say this shit and like move past it. So I don't want you to carry that. So, how was your March?
Well, my March was actually pretty good. My March was very fun, very eventful. I actually see that I came back home here in March for the Strawberry Festival. I see that I was smoking a lot. That's the point where my smoking habit kind of started to turn up a little bit. And I've never really been a habitual smoker. It was just a form of escapism, really. Especially during the time, like in March, where the tension in the house kind of got a little thicker with my roommate. I was just smoking just to smoke, really. I'd just be in the house, high as hell. Like, yeah, I could be watching TV, but I could also be high and be watching TV. Yeah, I could be washing dishes, but I could also be high and washing dishes. And I remember all of spring break, like, it kind of just passed me by because I was just in my room smoking. Once spring break ended, and I also ran out of weed, I was like, I'm not buying this shit again. Like, that was kind of like the first time where I actually went out and bought weed for myself. Most times I just kind of acquire it. It wasn't all bad. I think when I do smoke intentionally, like meaning I set intentions before I smoke, it's easier for me to come to conclusions and to self-reflect a lot easier.
Yeah, you're going into it with purpose.
Right.
So I get that for sure. 2024 for me, when I started the year, I was like, I'm gonna stop smoking weed. And I did for a really long time. I'm cold. That's why my voice quivering and shit. I'm not gonna cry. April.
I love the spring. It's my favorite season. So I really don't have nothing bad to say about the spring.
Yeah, even though like it was a lot of births and deaths happening, when the sun is out, I'm like, no complaints. Life is good. Naturally, I find a lot of comfort in like nature and like the elements. If I'm feeling any sort of sadness or melancholy, depression, whatever, I'm gonna go lay in some grass, look at some trees, and feel the sun, and it's cool. It's cool for me. But yeah, April, the beginning of the year, I was working a lot. Tunnel vision. April, I had decided to re-enroll back into school, which I don't think I ever fully dropped out. I just wasn't like taking
Same.
classes.
Same.
But
I fucked up my GPA doing that though. Like I would enroll in classes and I just wouldn't.
no, I just wasn't enrolling in classes, so my GPA stayed the same. Not to brag. Not to flex on y'all niggas. Oh, but I had took years, like a year or two off, so I was like, I wouldn't say behind, because shit, everything happened when it's meant to. But it's a lot of people who I entered school with, and they was graduating, and I was like, oh shit, that could have been me if I didn't take a break. But honestly, I would have lost my head if I didn't take a break.
You needed to.
Yeah. So I re-enrolled back into school. A lot of the people I was spending time with, because I was at work a lot of the time, was my coworkers. It was crazy. It was a lot of drama. It was very messy. And it was feeling very like NPC. What the fuck am I watching? Like, I don't even know what's going on half the time. But I was cooling at the same time. I would work. I'd come home, paint on my days off, and go on walks and shit. So it was chill vibes. April, May. Y'all know about May.
What happened in May?
That man came into my life.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm not going to get too deep because y'all already know the stories. But kind of. Y'all don't really know the stories. But y'all know how the stories make me feel. So entering that 2 year. Before that, I was like, I'm cool off relationships. 2 year came around. I'm like, okay, I can be around people again. I really wasn't looking to be in like any romantic situations or shit like that. But this person came along and I was like, we'll see. I'll allow it. May, that's when the shit started. And I feel like I kind of like diverted off my path a little bit. I'll say that. What was your April, May?
The spring is when I flourish, especially during tourist season. From what I can remember, I was going to school on my shit. I never worked during school either. I'm going to say that.
Seasons?
No, not even.
Oh.
No, I should just be unemployed. So yeah, I'd go to school, do my work, go to the gym. This was when I was really fixated on a routine after so long, like after my 2023 year and the path that I was leading, the life I was leading. During that time, during March, April, May, I saw my labor come into fruition and it felt good to know that it was...
Like from your routines and shit?
Right.
Okay.
It felt nice to be rewarded and treat myself the way I needed to be treated. You don't like what?
Those blueberries.
Oh, you don't?
Mm-mm.
Are they not sweet or you just don't like texture?
The one that I had was not good.
Oh.
I'm not going to try any other ones.
But yeah, I really loved April, really loved May. I was outside a lot, low key. I had found like a new friend group on campus. Being able to hang out on campus made me a lot more engaged in my studies and my work as well. Nothing significant that I can remember. I also feel like my memory is be shot.
Yeah. June. We got back into contact in June, I think.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We were texting. I think.
You would know better than I would because I'm so bad with dates.
To be honest, I'm going to just do June, July, August all in one sitting because
the whole summer?
Yeah. I was getting ready for school. I was working, but then I stopped working at the end of July. So like August, I was at home dilly-dallying. Going to the gym a lot. I was working out a lot, going on walks, runs, and things like that. Putting more energy into my body. And I was also shifting my perspectives in terms of the ways in which I connect to people. There were some like old connections from my past that I opened the door. I wanted to be honest with my feelings, and like if I want somebody around, or if I miss somebody, or if I value somebody's presence in my life, I'm gonna say that. But yeah, I was doing that. I'm not sure if it was the best idea, but that's how I felt at the moment, and I felt pretty good about it. I was pretty happy during the summer.
Well, my summer was awesome.
Oh, sorry, and I started smoking again in the summer. Maybe that's why I was happy.
My birthday was in June. June was a great month, and I think in May is when I started to pick up crocheting. So when June came around and I went on my birthday trip, I decided that I wanted to make all of my outfits by hand. Did I make all of my outfits by hand? No, but I made a couple. I didn't make all of them, but I made a couple. I enjoyed myself in Puerto Rico. July, that's when summer really started to pick up for real. I don't know a day that I was actually in the house. July was really fun. I developed a crush in July. it died in July as well. But August is when I knew that I was coming back home and I wasn't renewing my lease. August was kind of like some of my final goodbyes and such. Also, my sister's baby shower. So we were welcoming in a new baby in the family. So that was fun. In August, didn't we go to the paddleboarding in August?
Yeah. I went to the spring a couple times this summer. I did shrooms a couple times this summer by myself and with friends. I went to the springs and I did shrooms. That was a crazy experience. It really wasn't that crazy. It was chill. I don't know why I said that shit.
Fucking
It was pretty
hilarious.
beautiful though.
Okay, so the end of August, I was moving back home, adjusting to living back with my parents, coming back from being independent and living without any family around for 5 years. It was definitely a shift, but a good one. I needed to come back home. Miami was never supposed to be like a forever home for me. It was a place that I needed to experience and grow, but after that growth has reached its capacity, then I was supposed to retreat back home. August was me retreating back home, adjusting to a new routine with my family included, reconnecting with friendships, old and new. August was just about adjusting, I think.
Yeah, it was nice having you back. September. We went to Chicago and it was lovely. That
love
was
Chicago.
my first time being there. And I really, really enjoyed it. The weather was perfect. Yeah. I'm like treading lightly on the things I want to say about Chicago because I know some people be watching this video.
Ooh.
Chicago, like I said.
Outside of that though, it was a beautiful trip.
Yeah. I went and there were some things going on in Chicago that I was entangled with.
Interesting word choice.
I don't know. October is when like the hurricane and shit was happening. I was out of town. We had left for the hurricane. I was in Georgia and then I was in Chicago as well. There was things that I needed to learn, lessons that I needed to learn, and it is what it is. But it was very chaotic. September and October were very chaotic for me, emotionally.
I feel bad because I'm like, damn, September and October were blissful, awesome, amazing.
It was that too because I had a lot of fun in Chicago. It's a beautiful city, so I loved like being around and exploring. But along with those like highs, there were a lot of lows as well.
Like I said, I was still adjusting to moving back home. I started dating very loosely. I'm using the word dating very loosely.
Opening to the idea of dating.
That's what that was. A concept of dating. Thoughts of dating. That came and went. No hard feelings there. My experience in Chicago, because we did kind of stay apart for 2 days. It was nice to be back in the city. It was nice to visit my friend that lives there. Even though we didn't really get to hang out as much as I wanted or even catch up as much as I wanted because they had work and school. It was nice to be in their space again. I can't even really say anything bad about Chicago. If it wasn't for the weather, that would be my city, but I can't do no winters.
Yeah.
September, October was also like mentally preparing myself for my sister having a baby, which is crazy. I'm growing up. Like I'm not just a play auntie no more. I'm a real ass auntie. And it's funny to witness my sister grow into the mom that she is growing into. Like this is someone who, when we were growing up and we would go to the pool after dark, after hours, when we weren't supposed to be there, she would tell me to hold my breath underwater when the security came through. And we used to be jumping fences and shit. Like this is someone who is now having a baby. It's crazy, but life goes on. What do I recall from October? I think in October I went to Universal. I met up with a friend, my friend that I met for the first time in person. We've been friends since 2020, but we never got to meet in person. We went to Universal together for Halloween Horror Nights or something like that. What is it called, Halloween Horror Nights? It wasn't even that scary.
I don't think those things are ever scary because you know.
The one in Tampa is kind of scary.
What, Busch Gardens? Hollow Scream.
Hollow Scream.
Okay.
When I went, that kind of spooked me a little bit.
How old were you?
Okay, this one. What else happened in October? Oh, I skipped over the birth of my niece.
Oh, that happened in September.
Yeah, that did. That was a little scary. But the baby's here, the baby's healthy, so all is well. In October, I found a sugar daddy.
Oh.
But he was so aggravating, I couldn't entertain him no more.
Was he giving you sugar?
Not enough for me to entertain him further, you know. I was bored by him, and he was so enamored by me.
I mean, that checks out.
Yeah, it does, but like I want someone who excites me also. Like I don't want to be the only exciting one.
Yeah, like excite me with $100,000. 10 bands right now.
Yeah, that came and went the next month in October.
Where'd you find them? Asking for a friend
Hinge.
type shit.
Don't go on Hinge.
I don't want to.
It's a cesspool.
I don't like dating apps.
Honestly, we shouldn't even have dating apps. Should not exist.
That just feels like another form of doom scrolling to me.
It is. It is so like empty.
Yeah.
It's soulless.
I don't like
You're literally scrolling on an app like for people like a menu.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would eat that. No, I wouldn't eat that.
Yeah.
Like what? These are people. Yeah. Nah. If you see me on Hinge, just know I'm not doing well.
November, after the whole September, October situation, obviously I was like coming to terms with all of my emotions, dissecting everything that I had been through within that May to October timeline. And it felt like a very real death of mine. And it was sad, but at the same time, it was a very beautiful, beautiful thing. Even throughout like my sad moments where I'm like boohoo crying, it still felt really, really good to release that. After this little rainstorm, the sun is gonna come and shine and it's all gonna be okay. So November was really nice for me. It was very isolating, but in the best way. When I say isolating, like I was still around people, but it was like coming back to myself in a new way. And all throughout this year, I think from March, like I said, when I entered my 2-year, I was learning how to be back around people, but with this new version of myself that I kind of have been learning from that 1 year and all this shit through this 2-year. So learning how to be back around people. And I've had some trials and tribulations, like I'm running on falling on my face and shit like that. But then I've also had some really beautiful encounters, and it feels really nice, to be honest. Well, we're not in November no more, but November felt really nice because it was like I feel like I'm settling into myself a little bit after all this time. So yeah,
November was a really good month for me as well. The end of October is really what set November up to be 100%. Such a good month as well. The end of October, we celebrated my sister's birthday. We went out.
Oh yeah.
That was fun. It was nice to be around just the girls. I think the end of November, I deleted all of my social media as well. So it came with just me being a lot more present. I was able to be more grounded in my own skin, or like be more aware of my mind, myself, my body. November is when I finally kind of was starting to feel like a really, well, October and November, but like still in October, I was like holding my breath a little bit. November felt like an exhale, if that makes sense. And there was like a shift for me personally. Like I knew coming back that I wanted to change my ways for the better, obviously, but also I always said that I wanted to release old patterns and such, but November was really like when
actualizing that shit.
Yeah, not actualizing, but when I saw the fruition of me releasing the old patterns. Okay. So it felt sexy. November was a sexy month. I'm looking through my pictures and I was just cooking a lot. Like I came back home and my mom turned me into her own little personal chef. I've been eating good food lately. Oh, Thanksgiving happened in November. I think November was just very familial. Yeah. And like I said, because I was off of social media, it felt like I was a lot more present in the home. How was your Thanksgiving break? Oh, you were in Georgia, weren't you? Mm-hmm.
November for me was very like self-oriented. There were some aspects of like family involved as well, but based on my recent experiences, I think I was learning more how to discern like what kind of people I want around me, what I want in my environment, who I can actually trust and who I can't. And so Thanksgiving for me, my relationship with my family is a little complex. I don't believe too much in the like, oh, just because you're family, you should be a harmonious relationship no matter what.
Bitch, wait till we get to December.
I can't like fake the funk with anyone. If something is uncomfortable for me, I'm not gonna hide that. So it was It was very interesting, but I think an older version of myself might conform and like not say anything or like try to act like everything's fine just to keep the peace. But I was more able to like sit in myself and be like, no, I'm uncomfortable, and like voice that, and not hide how I'm feeling. So it was not a fun experience for me, but it was enlightening and relieving internally. So I would say, yeah.
December was good until it wasn't. That's when I started to make my vision board, because I already knew what I wanted my 2025 to look like. The last couple months, I was setting intentions already, but I could just tell that 2025 was just going to be a very fruitful year for me.
Planting seeds.
Yeah.
Past couple months for sure.
Yeah, these past couple months have definitely been about planting seeds, and I'm excited for 2025. I think it has a lot in store for me.
Shifting into the energies that we're fit to embody. December, I feel like, has been good to me. November and December, no matter what is going on externally, I think I've gotten to a good point within myself. If shit is not going right, I can make it right and not really dwell too much on like negatives. So this year, I feel like it's been crazy as fuck, and the shit given to anybody else might break them a little bit, but I think just being honest, I think I've built a really strong sense of self this year.
She literally 100%. Just said she built different.
Yeah.
December was good. Spending a lot of time with my family, mostly. Now, when Christmas came around, when it comes around, like, I'm just kind of ready for it to pass.
All in all, December was a mind fuck. But where are you at now? After
right now.
Yeah. The last day of December. The last day of 2024.
This morning was good. Like I said the other day, like, I felt low energy, but it's back up this morning. I went to bed early. I'm feeling good. I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful for 2025. And I'm equally nervous and excited to start my new job. But this is something that I've been having in the works for a while. So I think it's meant to be.
It's been a lot of like adjusting and, like I said, shifting into, you know, this newer energy. A lot of this shit, it's like easier said than done, but I'm not allowing the work that it takes to put into these things to like get to me. I'm still gonna do it, even if it's like frightening, even if I feel like, oh, it's too much. I'll gladly take it on because I want the shit and I want it bad, and it wants me just as badly. And these past couple of days have been weird. Like, my body physically feels weird as fuck.
My fingers are wrinkling.
Mine are just sandy. Super sandy. Could try to find the book that I read it in, but it was talking about how, like, when you enter new phases of your life, your body needs time to adjust, so you might like catch a sickness as your body shifts into, because it's like
that was probably what yesterday was about, or the other day was about. Like, I was feeling very distraught. Not distraught,
literally,
maybe.
when you like take on such pivotal changes and like look for like an evolution, your cells literally change. Your body needs time to adjust. And so I started experiencing this like fluttering in my ears. Every once in a while my ears will ring and people be like, oh, like it's a spiritual thing. Some people be like, oh, you got tetanus, tinnitus or something. But I've never experienced anything like that. Like, it wasn't painful and it wasn't a sound or anything. It was like actual vibration. I kind of thought I had something in my ear. So I went to the doctor to get my ears checked out, and they're like, no, it's completely clean. There's nothing in there, no wax, nothing. And then I was looking on TikTok. I didn't really listen to what she said, but she was talking about something spiritual. And then I started thinking about that thing that I read in the book. And then at one point, my ears started popping, and it started to feel like, you know, when you're on a plane and your ears pop and you have to like swallow to unpop them and stuff. I got a reading at the beginning of this year in January. And one of the cards that he pulled had like an airplane on it. And then another one had some stairs. When he got to the stairs, he was talking about like, you know, you've been at this level for too long. It's time to elevate and go to that next step. And so when I started feeling the popping in my ears, I'm like, It kind of feels like I'm on a plane right now.
On to the next step.
Yeah. I was like, it's very fitting. It's very fitting, the energy that I'm feeling right now. And it was uncomfortable as fuck these past couple of days with my ears. I started to feel a little bit nauseous, but I'm just like, you know what? We're entering that transition.
Fireworks.
It's been a crazy, wild ride.
I want to stay for the fireworks, but I'm suffering.
I know. I gotta pee.
I'm suffering real bad.
2025. I'm on that shit.
I think it's going to be good for us. It has no other choice but to be.
Yeah.
I'm not taking no for an answer.
There's no way we can lose. I feel good. After that darkness.
Then comes the light.
All right, we're going to skedaddle, y'all. It's cold.
I want to watch the fireworks, but maybe we could find a good spot. Gosh darn. I just want to sit in some heat.
Much love, y'all. See you later.
See you next year.
Oh, my God.